Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this special edition of This Week. We're back here at Drake University in Iowa for the first Democratic presidential debate in Iowa. It's been sanctioned by the Democratic National Committee. All of our guests here have been invited by the Iowa Democratic Party, and all 8 Democratic candidates are here. The podium order was determined by lot, but here's where they stand in Iowa, according to our latest ABC News poll. At 27%, Illinois Senator Barack Obama. New York Senator Hillary Clinton is at 26%, as is former North Carolina Senator John Edwards, also at 26%. New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson is at 11%. Senator Joe Biden of Delaware is at 2%, along with Ohio Congressman Dennis Kucinich, also at 2%. Connecticut Senator Chris Dodd is at 1%, and former Alaska Senator Mike Gravel, no support registered. Candidates, welcome. Not so bad, Senator Gravel.
Yeah, thank you for that warm welcome.
Maybe it'll go up after today. I'm going to be joined here in the questioning by David Yepsen of the Des Moines Register, and we want to cover a lot of ground today. We want to cover the economy, health care, education, and of course the war. But let's start with the 2 questions that have really been dominating this race so far. I think Democrats across the country are struggling with these questions. It comes up in the dialogue between your campaigns. And the first one is Barack Obama ready to be president, experienced enough to be president? And can Senator Clinton, Hillary Clinton, in part because of your experience, bring the country together and bring about the kind of change that all of you say the country needs? Senator Biden, you stepped into this last week. You told Newsweek magazine that Senator Obama is not yet ready to be president. Senator Clinton, is he right?
Well, George, I was going to say good morning. And as soon as I wake up, I'll answer your question. You know, I'm running on my own qualifications and experience. It's really up to the voters to make these decisions. And I'm excited because I have a campaign that is growing in support because we do need to make big changes. And I've set big goals for my presidency. I want to have universal health care and move toward energy independence and do what we need to do in education and reform our government and, of course, end the war in Iraq. So I think we have a great group of candidates. You don't have to be against anybody. This is a good problem to have. You can choose who you're for, and I hope people will choose to be for me based on my experience, my qualifications, and my plan for the future. As to what I will do as president.
But Senator Clinton, you did tell the Quad City Times that Senator Obama's views on meeting with foreign dictators are naive and irresponsible. Doesn't that imply that he's not ready for the office?
Well, George, we had a specific disagreement because I do not think that a president should give away the bargaining chip of a personal meeting with any leader unless you know what you're going to get out of that. It takes a lot of planning to move an agenda forward, particularly with our adversaries. I think the next president will face some of the most difficult international dangers, threats, and challenges that any president has faced in a very long time. We're going to have to mend fences with our allies. We're going to have to deal with global warming. We're going to have to get back on the track of trying to prevent nuclear proliferation and so much else. So I think that when you've got that big an agenda facing you, you should not telegraph to our adversaries that you're willing to meet with them without preconditions during the first year in office.
Senator Dodd, you've called Senator Obama's views confusing and confused, dangerous and irresponsible. Do you think he's ready to be president?
Well, again, I certainly underscore the point that Senator Clinton has made here. The point I make, and that was when I disagreed with my colleague from Illinois, was about the issue of whether or not a speech, a prepared speech, in which suggested here a hypothetical situation and a hypothetical solution that raised serious issues within Pakistan. As I pointed out before, the only person that separates us from a jihadist government in Pakistan with nuclear weapons is President Musharraf. And therefore, I thought it was irresponsible to engage in that kind of a suggestion here. That's dangerous. Words mean something in campaigns. And so I think it's an important distinction to make here. We're asking Democrats across the country to choose amongst us here who is best able to lead. The experience, the background, the demonstrated success in dealing with both domestic and foreign policy issues are critical questions. You're not going to have time in January of '09 to get ready for this job. You've got to be ready immediately for it and bring back the experience over the years to deal with these issues, as I have both on the Foreign Relations Committee, dealing with every major foreign policy debate, sitting there working with children and family issues over the last quarter of a century. I think demonstrate a background and experience and ability with proven success to deal with it.
Senator Biden, it seems like your colleagues here don't want to reach the judgment that you've made. Why isn't Senator Obama ready?
I think he's a wonderful guy. Start off. Number one, it was about Pakistan we were talking about. The fact of the matter is Pakistan is the most dangerous, potentially the most dangerous country in the world. A significant minority of jihadists with nuclear weapons. We have, and I disagree with all three of my friends, we have no Pakistan policy, we have a Musharraf policy. That's a bad policy. The policy should be based upon a long-term relationship with Pakistan and stability. We should be encouraging free elections. There is an overwhelming majority of moderates in that country. They should have their day, otherwise they're going to go underground.
But Senator Biden, you did go beyond talking about Pakistan. You were asked, is he ready? You said, I think he can be ready, but right now I don't believe he is. The presidency is not something that lends itself to on-the-job training.
I think that I stand by the statement.
You know, I think that Senator Obama does represent change. Senator Clinton has experience. Change and experience. With me, you get both. And, you know, my point, and here, I mean, we're going to need change to become energy independent. We're going to need experience to deal with foreign leaders, as I have. You know, it's interesting you talk about the dispute between the two senators over dictators that should we not meet. I've met them already, most of them. All my life I've been a diplomat trying to bring people together. This campaign is
Senator Obama ready?
Senator Obama represents change, and he's an enormously fresh voice in the political process.
Your answer.
Well, you know, to prepare for this debate, I rode in the bumper cars at the state fair. It works terrifically. But, George, I don't actually see that much difference or people criticizing me on the substance of my positions. I think that there's been some political maneuvering taking place over the last couple of weeks. I do think that there's a substantive difference between myself and Senator Clinton when it comes to meeting with our adversaries. I think that strong countries and strong presidents meet and talk with our adversaries. We shouldn't be afraid to do so. We tried the other way. It didn't work. I think that if we have Osama bin Laden in our sights and we've exhausted all other options, we should take him out before he plans to kill another 3,000 Americans. I think that's common sense. So there's one other thing that I believe, and that is that we should describe for the American people, both in presidential debates as well as president, what our foreign policy is and what we're going to do. We shouldn't have strategic ambiguity with the American people when it comes to describing how we're going to deal with the most serious national security issues that we face. And it is my belief that we need a fundamental change if we're going to dig ourselves out of the hole that George Bush has placed us in. And that's going to require the kind of aggressive diplomacy, preparation, yes, but the aggressive diplomacy, the personal diplomacy of the next president to transform how the world sees us. That is ultimately going to make us safer.